Baby situation? How we doing?
Anticipated due date is a month from today. We move into our house on Thursday, so we're busy.
You are busy.
I wanted to move on the hottest couple days of the year, so my
Yeah.
dream came true.
It's good. It's good. At least it's not raining.
No, I'll take it. Do the big Thursday, so I think it'll cool off a little bit better.
It's good to do it before the vacation.
Yes. We thought we were gonna do it after. We're okay with that.
Yeah, this is probably easier.
Our neighbors did a week before, and they already had it.
Okay, we're going to get started in just a moment. If I could ask the board members to please make sure you have your microphones on. Okay, good evening. The hour being 6:31 p.m. on Monday, June 23rd, 2025. I'd like to call to order the Village Brookfield Board meeting. Would everyone please join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, in the absence of Clerk Melendez, Assistant Village Manager Stevie Ferrari is going to be acting village clerk. Am I doing that? Or was there?
Yes.
Okay. Could we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Here.
Trustee Whitehead?
Here.
Trustee Hendricks?
Here.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Here.
Trustee Gilhooley, absent. Trustee Kaluzny?
Here.
And President Garvey.
Here. Thank you, Stevie. Okay, we do have one very important recognition tonight. We're recognizing Roger Nothnagel for 50 years of service to the Village of Brookfield. I did say that right, 50 years. And I'd like to just read a few words tonight. We honor and thank you, Roger, for who has dedicated an incredible 50 years of service to the Village of Brookfield. Through 5 decades of change, he has been a constant source of commitment, knowledge, and pride in our community. Over the decades, Roger has worn many hats, serving with dedication as part of the Police Auxiliary, where he started in 1975 as a patrolman and was soon promoted to captain. He also has served as a firefighter photographer for 18 years, from 1981 to 1999, and he's been in the Community Development Department ever since and a part-time electrical inspector. Roger recently celebrated 50 years with the local 134 IBEW. His deep knowledge of the village and unwavering commitment to public service has left a lasting impact on every corner of our community. On behalf of the village board, the staff, and our residents, we thank you, Roger, for a lifetime of service, and we wish you all the best. But we really hope you stick around, and we can call you every once in a while, because I think you know where everything is and where everything's buried and everything else like this. And I mean, 50 years is incredible. I mean, I don't know if you know, the village board makes fun of me and Trustee Ketchmark for being up here so long and so old. You've been here twice as long as we are, so thank you. And I want to thank your family, too, because whenever you work in public service, public government, your family gives up a lot of sacrifices. I know between the various jobs and hats with the Police Auxiliary and the Fire Department and even emergency inspections and photographing things, you probably had to leave a lot of family things, miss a lot of family things, and I know your family supported you. I know you have a wonderful family. But on behalf of myself and the board and the residents, we do want to honor you tonight for 50 years of service. So thank you. I do have a plaque. If any of your family wants to come up with you, they're welcome to come up. So we have this plaque presented to Roger Nothnagel for thank you for your 50 years of service to the Village of Brookfield from 1975 to 2025. like to say anything? I know you're not, he's not a man of big words, but these are your friends and your family.
I'd just like to acknowledge everybody for coming here. It means a lot to me. And after over 50 years, I think I've been in almost every house in town.
About the bars.
They don't count me.
I know we'll be seeing you around. I know you're going to be around and stuff, so we wish you a long and happy and healthy retirement, and please stick around with us.
Oh, yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks, kid.
Yes, Roger, if you need something to do with my yard, could you just?
And I do want to recognize everybody that came out tonight, you know, police, fire, everyone else that's worked with Roger forever. I know it's a great show of support. And Roger, the 50-year present for doing something like this is you don't have to stay for the rest of the village board meeting. If you'd like to go to a local establishment or somewhere and and depending on what time, depending on what time this ends, I might see you there. So, thank you so much. Of course, I just saw the fire truck pull away with lights on. Of course, the call came in the middle of that, so nature of the business. Okay, we will now move on with the rest of the meeting. We have no further appointments or presentations. At this point in the meeting, I will open it up to general public comment. Is there anyone on this side of the audience that would like to offer any public comment at this point? Hearing none, is there anyone on this side that would like to offer any public comment? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to reports of special committees, please. Trustee Narimatsu?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve corporate warrant dated June 23rd, 2025, in the amount of $1,097,371.94. Second.
The motion was made by trustee Narimatsu, second by trustee Kaluzny. Are there any highlights you want to point out?
Nothing this week.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board members related to the corporate warrant? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Whitehead?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Gilhooley? Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
President Garvey?
Aye.
Motion
Okay,
passes.
With respect to Public Works, staff have been beautifying all over the village. The 31st Street parking lot got some new plantings, and then the Congress Park Station got some new plantings. So I just want to thank Public Works for all that. I know all of the commuters are enjoying those plants out at Congress Park Station. In addition, Public Works has been concentrating a lot on water loss mitigation and the water infrastructure in the village, and taking some critical worker safety trainings that they'll be doing annually now on shoring and trenching. And that ends my report.
thank you, trustee Narimatsu. Trustee Gilhooley is not here for the Chamber of Commerce report, but I think she would tell you to come to the farmer's market this Saturday morning and every Saturday morning, and we'll get a further update from her. Trustee Gilhooley had a death in the family. Her brother-in-law passed away, and the services are tonight. So, Trustee Hendricks, anything for planning and zoning or library?
For planning and zoning, they had a special meeting this past week. I'll defer to trustee Kaluzny, who was able to make it to that meeting, but I did get to watch it on YouTube, so that's pretty great if you want to go back and watch it yourself. I know everybody's pretty excited about that. As for the library, the summer reading challenge is going on for all ages, can still sign up. And Arthur's Cookbook is for sale both at the library and at the market for $20. And let's see, the new percussion play instruments in Library Park, adjacent to their parking lot, are installed, and they're pretty cool if you haven't seen them. The Steam Fest takes place on Saturday, August 23rd, and that ends my report.
Thank you, Trustee Hendricks. Trustee Ketchmark, Administration, Economic Development.
There was no meeting of the Economic Development Commission this month. During the month of May, they did have discussion on the economic incentive policy, which we'll be discussing during our committee meeting tonight. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Whitehead, Parks and Recreation.
The Parks and Rec Commission met on Tuesday, June 17th. The commissioners shared feedback on playground design and other proposed improvements to Maple South Park. This feedback has aligned with what staff heard from residents at the public meeting earlier this month, and we'll hear more about next steps at an upcoming board meeting. Summer camp season continues. Again, nearly 500 kids enrolled in camp this summer, and it's going really well so far. The free Friday night concert series at Kiwanis Park continues this Friday, June 27th at 7 o'clock with the Stingrays, a rock and roll band. Reminder, there is no evening concert on Friday, July 4th, although we will, of course, have the parade kicking off at 10 o'clock a.m., followed by the party in the park. The party will feature music by Standing Room Only starting at 12:30 and Wild Daisy starting at 3 o'clock. We will have food and drink available for purchase at the party. Sales continue for the annual Brookfield Duck Race. To support the Brookfield Parks and Rec Foundation, you can buy ducks in person at the farmers market throughout the summer or online at tinyurl.com/BrookfieldDucks. The next Parks and Rec Commission meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, July 15th at 6:30 here at Village Hall. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Whitehead. Trustee Kaluzny.
Yes, Conservation Commission has not met since our last meeting, but their next meeting is tomorrow night here at Village Hall at 6 p.m. So if you want to learn more about Conservation Commission, come join me tomorrow. The Beautification Commission has also not met since our last meeting. However, they are still soliciting nominations for beautiful front gardens. Those submissions for the June garden recognition run through the June 30th. So tell your neighbors to submit if they haven't submitted their house already, and then we'll have a award of the best garden of June sometime in July. Their next meeting is July 1st at 6:30 p.m. here at Village Hall. And then, as Trustee Hendricks mentioned, I subbed in for her at the Planning and Zoning Commission, a special meeting last week around the electric vehicle charging update that's on our regular business later, so I'll provide some additional comment when we get to that agenda item. And that ends my report.
Thank you. The Solid Waste Agency, WCMC, have not met since our last meeting. I know the Brookfield Zoo, I think it was a busy week. I was out of town, but I think there was a busy weekend around the zoo. I know they had a concert, and that in combination with the large basketball tournament at Riverside Brookfield High School. But again, I think really have been able to lessen the problems with the excellent communication between the zoo and our first responders, and social media, getting it out, just letting people know ahead of time. It doesn't necessarily make it easier, but if you know the times or you know these things are going on, you might be able to reroute your way around, that type of thing. So we thank you, the police and fire department and village staff, as well as the Brookfield Zoo, for the excellent communication. That ends the reports of special committees. At this point, I would entertain a motion to pass the omnibus agenda.
So moved.
Second.
The motion to pass the omnibus agenda was made by Trustee Kaluzny, second by Trustee Whitehead. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Thank you. We will now move on. We have a few items under regular business. The first is I would entertain a motion to pass an ordinance adopting a zoning amendment for electrical vehicle charging.
So moved.
Second.
The motion to approve was made by Trustee Kaluzny, second by Trustee Narimatsu. As Trustee Kaluzny hinted, there was some discussion about this, but also we had a memo from Libby regarding this and the need for this, and this ties into our program with the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus. So Are you want to make a presentation? Is there, like, would you like to make a presentation tonight a little bit?
I could if you'd like to hear it, but I'm also here to answer questions.
Okay. If you just want to give a little background maybe for the audience members?
Sure. So this is our EV charging zoning text amendment or zoning amendment. And what this is, let's see. So what this is a zoning amendment that will establish some definitions, a statement of purpose, some regulatory aspects of classifying EV chargers as accessory use, and also providing a parking credit almost. So if you build a EV charger, you can get a credit off of your parking requirement. And this aligns with a program we're a part of called the Metropolitan Mayoral Caucus's EV Readiness Program. It is a pretty thorough certification program that helps guide communities in the Chicagoland area through preparing their community for EV technology and EV growth and EV support. And this, passing this zoning amendment would allow us to get the first rank of bronze certification with this program.
Thank you. Trustee Kaluzny, did you want to add anything from the?
Yeah, I just wanted to note that since the previous time that we reviewed this, there was an additional piece added to this ordinance that what Xander mentioned is this kind of accessory use and the credit for having EV capable or EV ready charging within commercial and multifamily buildings that have over 25 parking spaces allotted. So in plan developments that were larger than that size or had that many parking spaces, then this kind of parking incentive would come into play. There was some discussion at the zoning commission about, or kind of some concern and discussion about the stacking of incentives between bike credits and EV charging credits, but I think overall we decided we can address those as they come, as those plan developments come before us, and we get to make some decisions about those as the board. So I think there was just some awareness of, we're adding, if you have credits for both, you might be taking away more parking spaces, and so we just need to be aware of that as we're looking at future plan developments with over 25 parking spaces. There was also some things that some commissioners brought up about things additional things we could add in the future or look into, like EV charging at gas stations and other entities like that beyond just the kind of commercial and residential use. But as Libby mentioned and Xander's mentioned previously, what we're addressing tonight allows us to achieve the bronze designation with the EV cohort, and going through the zoning code updates that are happening right now, there's an opportunity to look at some of the additional items in the checklist and consider those in the future.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I
And-
appreciate that the multifamily districts were added for the super fast chargers. I forget the name, the acronym for that one. But
I think that's a good one.
I appreciate it.
And thank you, Xander, Libby, everyone that worked on this, because I know there were some pretty pressing deadlines to get, the bronze certification through this cohort for the Mayor's Caucus. I know there are a lot of hoops to jump through and to get us to this point, so appreciate all the work there. Any other questions or comments from the board? We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Whitehead?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next item, I'd entertain a motion to pass an ordinance amending Division 5 entitled Permitted Encroachments in the Parkway of Residentially Zoned Districts.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion was made by Trustee Whitehead, second by Trustee Narimatsu. And this was discussed at the previous committee, the whole meeting. We had a memo from staff about the need and explanation and talking about these permitted encroachments in the Parkway just to avoid problems going forward with, sprinkler systems and other things. And again, a lot of staff time was put into this, and we had the discussion. Any other questions or comments from the board related to it?
I just had one. So the ordinance reads as sidewalks, so you can have your driveway apron or your sidewalk, and they would be replaced, if the resident wanted them to be in brick pavers, they would be replaced with concrete by the village, unless, excuse me, I'm a little tired. Unless the resident wanted them to be in brick, the resident would then pay for that. But do we want different materials on the sidewalks, on the public sidewalks? Do we want those to be able to be changed into brick by the resident? Aren't they going to be consistent? Don't we want them consistently concrete? It seems to me that it's a little confusing because it makes it look like the public sidewalk can be replaced in brick.
No, we want them in concrete.
It doesn't mention the aprons at all. It talks about sidewalks.
Yes, what you're referring to is the portion that was approved by the board years ago, where we allowed people to put in these brick pavers pursuant to a license agreement. Based on the committee of the whole we had last time, the issue was clarification about who actually is going to do the work. Originally, it was the village would do the work and only pay for the amount for the concrete, and the licensee was able to pay for the village to increase the material or change the material. That the replacement of the sidewalk would still be at the discretion of the village to allow the replacement. So first, the applicant needs to come in and ask for a license agreement in order to do it. The existing ordinance as is no one could have encroachments in the village. We permit these brick paver aprons in the event that we approve them. And then if they're approved, what happens if we have to rip them out to do our work? Who pays for the replacement of it? So it is this section of the sidewalk that the village is removed to do their work, the continuation of the apron.
So is it referring to the section of the sidewalk that's just in the parkway?
Yes.
Like perpendicular to the public sidewalk?
Yes.
I think what Trustee Hendricks is saying is, does it need to be further defined which part of the sidewalk?
It is supposed to be the sidewalk that should have been cement, which was allowed to be brick pavers, and now we've removed, and the village is going to replace with cement again, unless that licensee wants to continue to have brick pavers there, then they'll be responsible for that. The
But they're not
sidewalk is
allowed to
referenced
do
in
the sidewalk that runs down the whole block?
Correct.
In brick, correct?
Correct. It's
Just
only
just the kind that goes from the street up to the sidewalk. Thank you. Service walk.
and that would all be subject to the license agreement. Part of the attached license agreement for the brick pavers, well, before you have the license agreement for the sprinklers, because that's the new element. But the current license agreement that's attached to the brick pavers that we approved years ago has an actual description and property and survey of where we're allowing them to encroach on our property.
Got it.
Okay, I think that the reason the reason for the confusion is that Section D here just keeps referring to the word sidewalk. I wonder if, when we do the zoning code update, maybe we need to define walk versus sidewalk, or make some definition so that it's clear which we're talking about, that we're not talking about replacing the public sidewalk.
Yes, the existing ordinance referred to the licensed walkway, where they're allowed to replace it interchangeably with sidewalk. The missing pieces of sidewalk, the pieces of sidewalk and walkway that were removed.
Other questions or comments from the board? Okay, again, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Aye.
Trustee Whitehead?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
That passes.
Motion
Thank you.
passes.
The last item, I'd entertain a motion to pass a resolution to approve a change order to the contract between J. Nardulli Concrete Incorporated and the village under the 2025 Street Improvements Project for the replacement of a lead water service in the amount of $36,223.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. As the memo explains, back in March, we awarded this year's street improvements project to the lowest qualified bidder, Nardulli, to do the streets. And during the course of the prep work for that, they've discovered that there was some individual lead service lines. There was 2 public water services and 3 private water services from the service box to the meter that are lead and in need of replacement. So it made sense to complete, I think if we're disturbing these, we have to complete them at this time. And while we have another contractor doing most of the lead service, Nardulli was able to and would be able to complete these replacements, and their change order prices were in line with the previous contract. So staff is asking us to add those additional lead service, so we're fixing at the same time we're fixing the streets. And the total amount, change order is $36,000 on the $1.4 million contract. So, any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Whitehead?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That ends the items we have under regular business. Tim, do you have anything with the manager's report? Okay, thank you. That's all the items we have on the village board agenda. So at 6:56 PM, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the village board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
The motion to adjourn was made by trustee Kaluzny, second by trustee Narimatsu. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ketchmark?
Aye.
Trustee Whitehead?
Aye.
Trustee Hendricks?
Aye.
Trustee Narimatsu?
Aye.
Trustee Kaluzny?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, we're adjourned at 6:56. We'll just need a few minutes and we'll get into the committee of the whole meeting. Thank you.